Life's a gamble, take a chance in the twilight of fortune's dance. Host with voices rich and cool, share the secrets, break the rules. Martini wisdom flows like gold, every episode a story told.
Drew and Mental in the morning with Slider.
That would be a great name for our podcast.
Been done.
Greetings and welcome to Sin City Spin. We're here in Las Vegas. He's sunshine on a cloudy day. It's Jason Slider LeDuc. And on the other side, he's a cool drink of water on a hot summer day. It's Christian Mental Ward. And me, I'm a gray sprinkle on a rainbow cupcake. I'm Drew Masur. Welcome to our show.
Maybe your call sign can be Sprinkles now.
Please, God.
I finally have one after 25 years.
Yeah, well, that's what he needs is more call signs.
Sprinkles it is.
Right. Sure.
We're not good. We won't remember that after this episode next week.
No, you don't know how Irish my coffee is.
I have an idea.
Yeah. It might be very little Irish. It might be really Irish.
Which apparently is not Irish at all.
Might be flammable.
Like an
Where's your
Irish power bomb.
Which is not Irish at all. Which disappoints me but doesn't surprise me.
Yes.
So last week we talked about Labubu's. And
what they do? What the hell are Labubu's?
I still don't know what they are.
I Googled them, and first of all, my Instagram feed is forever changed.
You're welcome.
Yeah, they're mystery dolls. You buy them, you get them online. They're silly little mystery dolls. You open them up, you go, oh, surprise!
Corn cup pipe.
So they're like Tinder dates.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Well said.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah.
Hopefully less expensive.
I don't know. I'm hearing. I mean, people are stealing them out of trucks. They're not cheap, I guess.
What are the Tinder dates doing in trucks?
What aren't the Tinder dates doing in trucks? You make this too easy.
This feels like a good country song. What aren't the Tinder dates doing in trucks?
Maybe George Strait can sing it at the Kennedy Center Honors.
Isn't it the Trump Center now?
Not yet.
Not yet. I think, yeah. The Kennedy.
Drew and Mental in the morning.
The Kennedys might have a thing to say about that. Speaking of doing things in trucks.
Yeah.
At one time or another, all of us have lived in the southern half of the United States.
Yeah.
One could argue we are now.
One could argue that we are now. And the reason I bring this up is no doubt you guys have heard about the Cracker Barrel rebranding.
Oh, no, we have the same topic.
I do not have the same topic.
Damn it.
Because, dear audience, I didn't take the easy way out.
Cracker Barrel logo change.
Well, it wasn't just the logo. So
also,
and I'll let you go off on the logo thing. I'll hold back on that one.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
But you're saying also?
Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm trying to decide if I'll have more effect now or later with what I'm going to say.
That's compelling. That's compelling. Probably something the Cracker Barrel Board of Directors should have considered. So the woman in charge of this, the CEO, Julie Felice Massano, a former contestant on the
Please say
Around
biggest
the
loser. Please say biggest loser.
Price is Right.
It was the around the world race,
Amazing Race.
Amazing Race, yeah. So they came up with this rebrand on this one, and you've got more on it. They here's where I'm going with this one is every time I've been to a Cracker Barrel, especially on a weekend, you're waiting for an hour. That's just how it is.
This is my problem with Cracker Barrel. Good food, interesting atmosphere.
Yeah.
Don't make me wait an hour to sit down.
Right. But as a business owner, if you've got a product that people are willing to wait an hour for, do you need a rebrand? Especially at the possibility of alienating your current customer base who are willing to wait an hour.
Here is my understanding. I don't know if you've got more on this. The number of young people who were willing to wait around an hour and poke around the old general store
Sure. No, absolutely.
was declining.
Right.
Right. So so there my understanding, tell me if I'm stepping on what
No, you're not.
Okay.
You're not at all.
My understanding is it's not just the logo, but the whole.
Absolutely.
They've already started kind of restructuring the old general store to something that'll be more interesting to the young folk.
And this is where, but my thing about this is you are catering to a market that you don't have at the expense of a market you do have. They spent $700 million on this rebrand. They built a pop-up Cracker Barrel in the Meatpacking district of New York City because there is not a Cracker Barrel within an hour of New York City.
When I think biscuits and gravy, I think the Meatpacking district of New York.
Wait, what other district would you think of?
And within 2 days, it cost Cracker Barrel $100 million in stock.
Yeah.
So they spent. Now, I read an article, if they had taken that $700 million and literally just split it among all of their store employees and given them they could have given them all a $20,000 bonus. How good do you think the service is going to get at Cracker Barrel when you just handed somebody?
It's going to be shit. Everyone's going to take 20 grand and go party all weekend.
It's going to be great until next year when they say, "Where's our $20,000 bonus?" And then Cracker Barrel says, well, "That was a one-time good deal." They go, "See ya."
Or you could have spent $20,000 to expand the dining area so that the young people don't have to wait around there. But instead, you absolutely alienate your current customer base at this expense of chasing a new one. Dang it, this is the second week in a row where I want to say there was a podcast. Oh, that's right. It was us. And I'm not going to link that episode because I literally linked that last episode where we talked about impoopification of everything.
I will defend Cracker Barrel for trying to think ahead because you're talking about the existing customer base they have now. They are dying. They are dying rapidly.
But Harley Davidson...
They do have to think ahead a little bit.
Harley Davidson had the same problem about 15 years ago is their current market getting older, not buying motorcycles. They wanted chrome and all the Eagle stuff on that one. And they had to walk a very delicate line of appealing to young buyers without alienating their core audience, who, by the way, has all the friggin' money. So they carefully introduced over a period, and now they have the blackout options and they have the Nightster and they have all these things with less chrome and minimalistic colors because that does appeal to a younger demographic. They even had Porsche help them design a motorcycle, and they have managed to succeed through this. And I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying anytime you start alienating your core audience, even though they're old and dying, while chasing a new one, you're going to run into trouble.
Good idea, poor execution.
There it is.
Or well-intentioned poor execution.
That's it. It was well-intentioned. So, there's more to it. They pulled off, first of all, I learned that the old man on the sign
has a name. I
found that out this
Herschel.
morning. Yeah. Old man Herschel, old time. So, yes, I totally get what you're saying. When I think of comfort food, I do think of Cracker Barrel. I think of stopping on the side of the highway for, chicken fried steak and all those goodies.
If you're in the South, it's either that or the Waffle House, and the Waffle House is usually at 2 a.m.
I'm pretty sure their apple butter and sweet tea are a big part of the reason why my doctor wants to cut my feet off.
Valid.
Drew's doctor, tell us in the comments.
Seriously.
I mean, their mashed potatoes are great. Their country gravy is on point. I really enjoy Cracker Barrel. But the sign that they made was so, look, people have rebranded before and
it's corporate minimalism is all the rage these days.
This rebranding was on par with the Bud Light fiasco.
It really
I mean, its stock
the
price
reaction
drop.
certainly was.
Right. And it felt inauthentic, and it felt like it, and one of the things I read said that it looked like an AI generated thing. And I think for that older crowd, dying off as they may be,
they do not want
this intrusion of AI into every aspect, which we've talked about before on the show, AI and
they're probably highly sensitive to it,
And they're going, look, this is the one place I can go get a goddamn wrapped caramel, I got some Werther's treats.
The toothpick game.
45 minutes later, they'll call my number and I'll get to go sit down and I will feast.
Yeah.
And I will roll out of there in a food coma.
I will say
that's post-church.
I will say the logo itself, and in general on this, who cares? I understand why the reaction was
the reaction is stupid, but this is interesting. Is immediately afterwards, the official Twitter of the Democratic Party said, "We think the new logo sucks too."
Yeah, so I don't understand.
This is so bad. It has united a divided nation.
Yeah, even the president came out and was like,
What I will say, though, I don't know if it was McKinsey who they went to, McKinsey Consulting, but they obviously went to some consulting company.
Sure.
And what we have seen in many of these rebrands and what comes out of it, here's the new logo, here's the new whatever it is, the new strategy. It always looks to me that someone said, "Oh shit, that meeting's in 3 hours. What do we got?" and we got to get on the jet.
Yeah,
like in 45 minutes.
Just erase half of it. Erase half of it.
Yeah, that's kind of how the logo looked to me. But in general, I just don't understand the reaction. If you like Cracker Barrel food.
Yeah,
they haven't changed the menu. Like if they had changed the menu on this, I would have said. I think
okay, it was leading down that road. They were talking about menu changes and some other stuff. I mean,
they introduced alcohol a couple of years ago, and that got people up in arms. But this is what cracked me up is the people that hated it. They all started calling it woke, and that just underscores my concept that anyone who uses the phrase woke on a regular basis cannot define that term.
I don't think
anything that offends me is woke. Just stop.
Woke has become anything anyone doesn't like.
Yeah, exactly.
Which to be fair, in our day, it was sucks.
Yeah,
and it still is, right? That logo sucks, and it does suck. I'm not saying the logo doesn't suck. I'm saying this is an insane reaction.
Yeah. Instead of saying it's woke, just say it sucks. It's more accurate.
It does.
Yeah. Stop politicizing.
You know the young people can't just do what.
Why are they getting rid of
Gen
this?
Xers did that.
Why are they getting rid of that sweet old man?
They got to say it's Ohio Skibbity or some dumb shit like that.
Going to the CB, the Cracker Barrel.
I know that we won't, but we should totally name this episode Ohio Skibbity because I don't even know how to spell that.
I don't know what it means. I heard somebody talk about it on a podcast that the youngsters are saying it. Don't understand it. I don't know what it means. And back to my earlier comment. Who cares?
Yeah, I saw it got added to a dictionary, and every time I see it, there's a picture of a face in a toilet. I don't know what. It's right up there with these Labubu's. I'm like, mystery dolls and faces in toilets. They're not having sex. What is going on with the younger generation?
This is why for 100,000 years of human history, until 20 years ago, no one paid attention to teenagers.
Yeah.
Right? And then all of a sudden, parents started giving them money. They had more disposable income than any demographic. And now we have to listen to teenagers for some reason. Listen, if you're a teenager and you're not starting a rock band or getting a dog and a groovy van and solving some mysteries, shut the fuck up.
Or starting an AI.
I don't care. I don't care. Rock band, solve mysteries. That's all we want to hear from teenagers.
Or by the time you're 22, an AI startup that generated $500 billion and then failed.
I'll allow it. Or succeeded. I'll allow it.
Yeah. Yep, valid. Yeah, no, we should be listening to teenagers. I would also argue that I could see the Ohio part of it as being part of suck because this is a true fact.
I believe that was where they were going with that, but they never really fully explained
Ohio is home to more astronauts than any other place on Earth. More astronauts have come from Ohio than every place.
To Ohio?
No, but there's just something about Ohio that makes its residents want to leave the planet.
Well, now there's like going to be 9 jillion astronauts in about 20 years. Everybody that goes out of space is an astronaut.
Oh, I know, yeah.
But I mean, that's the rule,
William Shatner's an astronaut.
Yeah. Technically, all you have to do is get about 50 miles, and the United States government recognizes you as an official astronaut. And you even get to wear the wings if you want.
It'll probably still be more people from Ohio.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's a lot of effort. You could just go to Pennsylvania.
You brought up a good point.
Much of an improvement.
I don't know. I think Pennsylvania is a huge improvement over Ohio. Save your cards and letters. Don't send them to me.
I mean, I live in Nevada for a reason.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
You made a good point earlier. Someone somewhere put this Cracker Barrel design together.
I don't think I'm with Slider. I don't think it was a person. I think literally some guy cheated, went to Chat GPT like 4 times.
Because it's the blandest damn.
It was some newly minted MBA who worked at the consulting company and said, "Oh shit, I got to show something in like an hour."
Yeah.
And here's the thing.
Give me a new Cracker Barrel logos, Johnson.
And if you're watching,
and Johnson goes, I don't know what Cracker Barrel is.
And if you're watching and you're willing to come clean, tell us in the comments.
Yeah.
We'll even do like that digitized face disguise voice thing.
Yeah, we'll
That'll be
disguise it.
fun.
We can disguise the voice with that.
Oh, yeah, totally. We'll make you sound like Darth Vader. Well, I was in the bathroom till 5 minutes before the meeting.
They put the lotion on its skin.
I shit that out and they just ran with it. I couldn't believe it. They didn't test. That's the thing. They didn't test it. Get 70 old folks in and be like, here are biscuits and gravy from Cracker Barrel. Yum. Here's some sweet tea. Oh my gosh.
Or that one old one that you've got to remodel on the freeway between Nashville and Atlanta.
Hey, everyone, what do you think of this new logo? And someone's going to go, where the fuck's Herschel?
This sucks. You kids and your wokeness.
It's woke. It's woke to me. It's woke.
It's woke.
Okay, so my
Ohio
my
Skibbity-Doo.
my two positions on this. Who cares? Don't listen to teenagers.
All right, yeah, I'm down with that one.
And to stop the hour-long line, Uber Eats Cracker Barrel.
I do not want biscuits and gravy delivered by a 22-year-old and a.
You got to do priority ordering. If you get that shit 30 minutes later, it is turned into a thing.
This is why your doctor wants to.
That's where I'm going. Yeah.
But
Yeah, half-hour-old country gravy on biscuits. That is not a recipe for success.
It always intrigues me, Slider, when you have paper. And your excitement at us having the same topic tells me that you've got a non-Cracker
so you guys
Barrel.
are on a Cracker Barrel, right?
Their stock's up 5% because they went back to the old. That was my last point.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No shit. You talked about lost 100 million in value, all this stuff, right? No good. Everybody goes, oh, it's a new. We're going back to the old sign. 5% growth in the company.
That just tells you how divorced the stock market is from reality right now.
And also how divorced a lot of these CEOs are. But I'm not that
Literally
they
and figuratively.
Yeah, not
Only if they go to a concert on the Kiss Cam.
I
And
wish.
piece of advice number 3: don't listen to Coldplay. Coldplay is Ohio Skibbity. Did I do it right?
I have no idea.
Right, America?
I have no idea.
Tell me, this is the one time I'll listen to teenagers. Did I do it right?
There's Waffle House, if they were on social media, missed golden opportunities to go all Wendy's and troll the shit out of Cracker Barrel and be like, we ain't changing nothing.
You know, Waffle House has their classy moments.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I feel like Waffle House knows their lane.
100%.
And we'll just say their client base.
Yeah.
Hey, are you hungry right after you had to clear the restaurant after a shooting? Come by Waffle House.
Is it 4 a.m. and you are hammered, smothered, covered?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you Uber Eats Waffle House?
Oh, I'm sure. I don't.
But
you might
why?
have a long wait here.
I don't.
But also, why? Because Waffle House is a thing where the atmosphere is half the
I
experience.
keep it classy. If I'm going to order breakfast, I Uber Eats Denny.
which is Waffle House for people who can't fight.
Can you serious question? Serious question. Can you Uber Eats Blueberry Hill here in Las Vegas?
I mean, I get up with my phone and find
Hill
out.
has it all over Denny's.
They do. There's one within walking distance of my house. It's great.
Yeah, I love Blueberry Hill.
I wish they hadn't closed the one across in Base.
Yes, that was unfortunate.
So you have.
Speaking of stock prices going up,
There you go.
Yeah.
what do you guys think of this Intel deal with the federal government?
Ooh, that's fun.
So here's where I'm going to go with this, and I know that this is not your primary area of study, but you have also proven to be quite financially literate. If a government owns a company or a large part of the company, isn't that the definition of socialism?
So it's more of a political science question than it is a finance or business question. The definition of socialism is a little like many things of political science.
Anything I don't like is socialism.
Right, it's a little bit nebulous, right? So,
They don't deliver on Uber Eats.
I thought you were telling me I was wrong about socialism.
I mean, maybe. Also maybe.
We were going to have to tangle.
That would be like the one thing when you're laying out some sort of like, molecular equation and Drew just goes, no, that's not.
But I did want to get beyond the snarky Twitter comments of like, well, that's socialism. And it kind of is, right? You guys been railing against socialism for...
No, not you guys.
No, it's the new phrase is government influenced capitalism.
Right. Which
that's the new phrase.
So, but I wanted to get your personal impressions.
Yes.
Snarky comments aside of you guys have been railing against socialism for years, and now you want to transfer the means of production to the government, which technically is socialism.
First of all, it's not transferring the means; it's ownership stake. You have a point. Sorry, go ahead.
I understand.
And all the notes are the facts that may come up in the conversation.
Okay. I understand the concept of what they're trying to do, which is we have given a lot of chip manufacturing capability to overseas governments, and it has become essential. It really is as essential as water and power. That we have a degree of ability to manufacture these chips to maintain our current economic, social, even mechanical infrastructure. So we need to be able to do that. I've just worked for the government for so long. I know it's going to fuck it up. The government never, look at Amtrak, look at everything. The government not once has ever made anything better.
I non-concur. So if you go back to banking crisis and bailouts and all that kind of stuff,
don't get me started on that.
We took an equity stake and the U.S. government made money when we released those shares. Now, I'm not saying this is a too big to fail situation, but you can look at it from a national security perspective.
Oh, sure.
As Intel is the only foundry that can make chips in America.
I think AMD might disagree.
Ding.
Okay, point made. Well, I mean, maybe they'll take shares in them too. The administration has made very clear this is not the end of it. They've said many defense stocks are nothing more than an extension of privatized government work. I mean,
sure.
Lockheed Martin.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think Trump said Lockheed Martin makes 97%. I don't know if that's true or not, but 97% of their money, their generated revenue comes from the federal government. So why shouldn't
it's all military sales mostly.
And when he's out there making deals and he's getting, China to buy 500 Boeing aircraft and he's getting these countries and these trade deals to do these things, I think he's looking for, right or wrong, I think he's looking for the American taxpayer to get a dividend from the work, an ownership stake. They say they're not going to try to run the company. I don't think they're actually taking the manufacturing away from Intel.
Yeah, they also said we were all getting $5,000 tax rebates when Doji saved us $2.2 billion.
They're saying
they're lying.
If we're going to go tell people to use Intel Foundry and use it made in America products and those kinds of things, then when the stock goes from 25 back to 80, where it was 2 years ago, maybe the American taxpayer ought to get some of that. When you've been given $3 billion plus in grants, that's my take. That's my hot take.
Okay, so
we gave them money. We should get ownership.
I am uncomfortable with this, and I had to ask myself, why are you uncomfortable with this? Because this is something we do here in the state of Nevada. We have a funds matching program from the Governor's Office of Economic Development through Battleborn Ventures. When Startup NV, when their private fund invests in a startup, the government matches those funds. They have funds set aside for that. Now, those are startups. That's a little bit different.
And I figure it's also, there's a qualification process.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yes.
Right. There's not just any startup,
But I will say, like a lot of things in startup investing, there's a little bit of vibes. Like, we think you're going to be successful doing this. We believe you're going to be successful doing this. There's not like a real set criteria. And Startup NV has some pretty good set criteria for their pitches. But so I was a little uncomfortable with this. So I had to look up some of the information because I am a little concerned. So let me give you some facts. Or some things that are close to facts, because my research. So one of the questions I had was...
Take a step back from your radio, folks, because Slider's about to drop some knowledge.
So one of the questions I had was, what governance ability will the federal government have?
That is a concern of mine.
Right. And so what my research told me, and I had another note, and I couldn't find it when all this stuff came off the printer either. So... the federal government what they have made a big deal about is they have no governance authority. They don't get to vote on the board.
Okay.
And
They're not going to oust the CEO because they're a majority shareholder.
True, as I dove into it a little more.
Oh.
So what they are not allowed to do is they are not allowed to vote on filling governance positions. So the federal government, like other shareholders, is not allowed to vote on who the chairman of the board is, who other board members will be.
Right.
That's kind of where it ends. They are required to vote with the board when the board votes on stuff.
So if they were going to do a stock issuance and they needed to go to the shareholders to get approval, the U.S. government owning 10% of Intel would get to vote whether or not.
They would have to vote with the board on that.
Okay.
So if the board votes we're going to do a stock issuance, even if
the government disagrees,
even if all the other shareholders, well, it doesn't matter. The government has to, but that's the legal rule. Now, will that happen? Who knows? But so the government must vote with what the board says on those kinds of things.
So basically, they're like a housewife in the 60s. You have to vote what your husband tells you to.
Yeah. And whether the other,
That was nice.
whether the majority of the shareholders or not think of that, right? So there's an opportunity for the government to put their thumb on the scale on some of those decisions.
Absolutely.
For other decisions, the government is free to vote however they want.
Okay.
Now the other piece, and my research on this wasn't particularly conclusive because the latest numbers are from June. So some of my research told me the government is now the single biggest shareholder in Intel. I don't know if that changes things for you guys.
My understanding.
My other research tells me that Vanguard and BlackRock have 13% stakes, but that's only as of the end of June 30th. So I don't know, but it's possible the government is the biggest single shareholder,
or at least in the top three.
They certainly in the top three, right?
Makes sense.
And so now, I don't know if you remember this from business school. When you go into business school and you sit down in your very first class, and for us it was accounting because you have to be able to read and to a lesser extent write financial.
He's talking
right?
to Drew at this point because the philosophy major has nothing to contribute.
Yes, that is correct.
Yes.
This is how I feel.
No, just for people that are listening.
Yeah.
That is correct. Yes.
It's okay. This is how I feel when they talk about F1.
But I'm going somewhere with this. This is how you feel when we talk about being on the airplane.
Accounting.
This is see, Drew gets a win. So the first thing they tell you, like before they even start to tell you about accounting stuff, is companies exist, firms exist to increase shareholder value.
Correct.
That's what they told you.
Yes.
That's what they told me. I think that's a false choice, but at the end of the day, that's what we're all taught in business school, right? Companies exist to increase shareholder value, period. Nothing else matters. With the federal government potentially being the largest single shareholder in the company, they can put their thumb on the scale to do things that are good for the government and good for the board, but not necessarily good for the individual shareholders.
Absolutely. And
they could.
I don't know. Do you remember which one you guys said? When the shares go back up to 80 from 20 where they're at now?
correct.
We'll see, right?
Right.
And
my concern is also like Senator X, because Intel is based out of, I want to say, Missouri.
I don't remember where they're based out of.
But, senator from this state and senator from the other state are both arguing over which way the government's going to vote because they want the new factory built in their state.
well, and that's some of the stuff.
That's a board decision.
Yes.
Yeah. No, there's definitely some stuff there that is concerning. It felt a little forced, like, hey, we gave you a grant, now we're taking equity. That was
That's
in
the
the
part
area.
that makes me most uncomfortable.
That was the part
That
I
really
didn't
just
care
sounds
for.
like a bad 80s loan shark.
But at the end of the day, there's great talk and energy behind a U.S. strategic reserve, which would be an equity owner in things like Bitcoin and in things like corporate America. And I mean, the government being a shareholder could be viewed as a positive of, maybe too positive, they'd be very pro-business to perhaps at a point of the detriment of the customer, but
Or people that just have to live around the factory that's polluting.
well, yeah, a pro-business government. I mean, a pro-business government for the sake of what they're trying to do, which is increase shareholder value. There's that. Now, if you're doing that by rolling back climate regulation so you can dump in the rivers, well, that's something for the voters to contend with, right?
And that is ultimately a part of this is voters will get an opportunity at the ballot box. Just to give you a couple more things, anonymous institutional investor, large institutional investor, so like a big hedge fund, wanted to be anonymous. He or she has a number of comments here, but the ones that really stood out to me was what we talked about. It influences competing decisions on where to locate a new plant, whether to lay off workers, how hard to press into overseas markets. And
these decisions,
a government stake in otherwise private entity potentially creates a conflict between what's right for the company, back to exists to create shareholder value, to increase shareholder value, and what's right for the country. So I am uncomfortable with this because it's such a big company in such a critical industry.
And it will now have to answer to an entire group of people that are convinced they're the smartest people in the room, and this is why I can't get a good gas can.
It's really not that big of a company, though. It's only worth $80 billion. When we took
$80 billion.
I mean, it's just $80 billion. Yeah. I mean, it's not even one of the top 25 biggest.
It's only the biggest chip maker in the United States.
Now, chip maker, right?
Big is relative, right?
Yeah, exactly.
When NVIDIA,
I know you've been told this is big, Drew.
When NVIDIA is worth $4.5 trillion, the $80 billion. And, it feels a little small.
Sure.
Agreed. Although some might argue that valuation on NVIDIA is a touch overvalued.
Well, I mean, they reported last night, as of this recording, and the stock price only went down 2%. So most people think it's worth about $4.5 trillion.
All right.
I don't. So I sold mine.
So coming soon. Intel complete redesign. They're going to do a new logo. They're going to have a new logo.
It'll look just like Cracker Barrel.
Exactly. New rating label. It won't even say Intel anymore because of corporate minimalism. It'll say I.
It'll just be Cracker Barrel crossed out with Intel written in marker. Same consulting company.
Spray paint.
Yeah,
spray paint. Right. HP on the side. Yeah.
Same guy with the same intestinal distress that has to come up with a logo in 7 minutes.
If you take it all at face value, I do appreciate that if the government is going to give grants to companies, give money to companies, the taxpayer should share in the upside.
Right.
I am very concerned that the potential downsides will not result in an upside for the taxpayer.
I think you're correct.
That's why I'm concerned about
Not
this.
because of evil, not because of any sort of ideology, but because of the size and the incompetence of the government.
Because politics will get in the way of increasing shareholder
bureaucracy just makes everything
again, I am for what we do here in the state of Nevada for brand new startup companies.
Right.
And I really had to think about this one because I am for that. I'm a big proponent of that. Mm-hmm. But because of the critical industry and because of the active stake that the government could have and be able to put their thumb on the scale for this, I'm concerned I'm concerned there's much more downside than upside.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is not the government's first foray into equity ownership of companies. It's far from the last. I think Boeing, I think Lockheed, I think defense sector should all be ready to have a government equity stake in their company.
Socialism. Excuse me.
And that was one of the quotes from the anonymous hedge fund institutional investor was, when you do one company, that's one thing. When you start to do it across a bunch of companies, and now you're central planning those companies because you have an ownership stake in all of them.
Yeah.
Now we're approaching something a little dangerous.
Yeah.
Not my quote, his quote, although I agree.
Well, every good financial planner will tell you to diversify your portfolio. So I guess the government's going to do the same.
Yeah,
I
don't think none of us are objecting to the ownership or the strings attached to a grant. All of us are objecting to how good or bad they'll be at this.
I would prefer, if we really wanted to provide upside for the taxpayer, I would prefer that it was simply no governance stake at all.
Yes.
Simply financial, no governance ability at all.
And a pre-planned departure point. We will hold this stake until such time that the shares reach this price, at which point they will be sold and the money goes back into the...
a reasonable safeguard. My biggest concern is when you start to get into nefarious things, this administration or any administration could say, all right, the shareholders didn't vote the way we wanted to. Well, guess what? We're going to sell our 10% stake in the company
and crush the value.
Half of what the price value is, and crash the value of the stock.
Yeah, because you didn't build in my state like I wanted to.
Mm-hmm. And again, I think if people do that with the sovereign fund and blow the money, the government's money that way and the taxpayers' money that way, there hopefully will be a consequence at the polls.
Even a sovereign fund would be different.
Well, that's, I think, where it's all going to end up.
But a sovereign fund. So first, countries.
All right, we are 33 minutes into this.
We should talk sovereign fund.
Sorry, folks.
We could edit, then you could explain sovereign
If you want
fund.
to know where the good tacos is, if you want to know where the good tacos is, so I says to Mabel, I says, if you want to know where the good tacos is, I guess you guys don't get to hear this discussion ever.
Okay.
Bye.
Welcome back, Herschel.
Thanks for joining us. If you want to disagree or agree, if you want to correct our math, or you just need to find out where the good tacos are, you can drop us a line at sincityspin.podcast@gmail.com. You can text us at 702-721-7328. We're on Facebook, Insta, Reddit, and the thing formerly known as Twitter. That is all we have. Stay safe and hopefully luck will be your lady. But if you wind up broke, well, I hope you have a swinging time.
Well, hot shit. You think I'm not bringing that back to you later today? You're out of your mind. Well, hot shit.